Okay, we are going to factor trinomials. When we factor trinomials, the leading coefficient is 1. It makes it a little bit easier, but we call this the trident method because it kind of looks like a trident. And it also has 3 terms, tri. So what you do is you start off by making your 2 parts of your trident and you multiply those. When you multiply those, you multiply just the numbers. So I say, okay, that's 6. 6 times the imaginary 1 here. In parentheses, I'm going to take this first term and lower it a degree. So I'm going to start with x and x. When I say lower a degree, it means take it from squared down to the first. So then I look for all my factors of 6. Start with 1. 1 times 6. Negative 1 times negative 6. 2 times 3. Negative 2 times negative 3. The next number would be 3. Since I've already used it on the right side, I know that I have listed all my possible factors. I look and see which of these possible factors add to the middle term, which in this case would be a positive 2 and a positive 3. That is the middle part of my trident. So I put my plus 2 and my plus 3 in my parentheses. There is no simplifying to be done, so x plus 2 times x plus 3 is in fact my solution. It does not matter which parenthesis the 3 goes in or the 2. A little bit different when you have a negative in the middle. So we are when we multiply the outside, start with my parentheses, x and x. I'm looking for factors of 2 that add to negative 3. So I say 1 and 2. Negative 1, negative 2. Well, the only ones that add, so I'm looking to add, and I take my middle trident right there, and I say negative 1 and negative 2. Again, there's nothing to simplify, so that is my answer. But it gets a little different when we have to simplify. So if I take this one and I say, okay, now I have a 12 and a negative 1, and I multiply it and I get negative 12. I can simply take this and start with 1 and negative 12. I'm also going to start with my parentheses. Now remember last time I put whatever was there and I knocked it down a degree. But I'm going to put 12x into both of them. Now that should cause you some confusion right away, because when I say 12x times 12x, I do not get 12x squared. I'd get 144x squared. So we're going to deal with this issue later in the problem. So I continue with negative 1 and 12, 2 and negative 6, negative 2 and positive 6, 3 and negative 4, negative 3 and positive 4. Next number is 4. I've already used it, so I know I've listed my factors. The 3 and negative 4 are what would add to my middle trident of negative 1. So I put a positive 3 and a negative 4. Now what should upset you about this problem to start with is that it equals 12x squared. So when I multiply this back, I should get 12x squared at my first multiplication. So I have an extra 12 in here that I don't need. So I'm going to have to divide an extra 12 out. But it doesn't always come out nice and neat in one term. Sometimes it's split up. In this case, I look and I say 12 and 3 have a 3 in common. I'm going to divide a 3 out. That leaves me with 4x plus 1. Over here, I have a 4 in common. So I leave that, and I have 3x minus 1. If you notice, the 3 and the 4, if you multiply them together, give us the extra 12 that I reduced out, and now we're back to 4x times 3x. It's 12x squared, and so on and so forth, and this is your answer. I'm going to do just one more like that before I wrap this video up. So I have 2 and 6 is 12. Factors, I start with 1 and 12, negative 1 and negative 12. Right away, before I continue, I can stop. And I can say, well, these add to that middle term. There's my trident. So I start with 2x and 2x. And I have a negative 1 and a negative 12. Again, it does not matter which order you put these in. But I do need to reduce this down. This one does not reduce. Okay, so really it divides by 1, so nothing changed. The next one is 2x minus 12, and just ignore that ringing sound you hear. And when you divide by 2, you get x minus 6. So then I have 2x minus 1 and x minus 6. Thank you very much.